Throughout African history, women have played hugely significant roles in the story of the continent and how it's evolved.
Call them whatever you like: boss ladies, feminists, women rights activists, dictators. These African queens and warriors led men to war, ruled kingdoms, and called the shots.
Throughout the ages, some women have managed to dominate in a man's world. They gained unprecedented power, riches, and glory, which made them respectable rulers of the land. These powerful figures had significant influence over the affairs of the kingdom. They led the kingdom with precision, creating a dynamic environment for the common folk. But every ruler has their own story to tell. Let's take a look at some of the most powerful queens in African history. Number 1. Queen Hatshepsut, Ancient Egypt. Rule 1507 BCE to 1458 BCE. Hatshepsut was the first female pharaoh to rule Egypt as a principal monarch. At first, she was the regent to the young Thutmose III, but she carried out a remarkable power play, which landed her at the throne. She held the seat for 20 years. During her reign, the land prospered. She renewed trade with the Aegean Islands to the north, Western Asia to the east, and Punt to the south. She undertook massive architectural projects, including the obelisks at Djeser, which was her mortuary temple, and at Karnak. Many historians consider Hatshepsut to be one of Kemet's most successful pharaohs. Queen Nefertiti, Ancient Egypt. Rule 1353 BCE to 1336 BCE. Some historians estimate that Nefertiti might have acted as her husband's co-ruler instead of his consort. She played a key role in religion alongside King Akhenaten. Nefertiti is known for changing the traditional polytheistic religion in Egypt to a monotheistic one. By the 5th regnal year of Akhenaten, Aten became the main national god. This change was most likely meant to give Nefertiti more power within the official. She, without a doubt, remains some of the most influential queens in ancient Egypt. Number 3. Queen Amina of Zaria. Rule 1576 to 1610. Also known as the Warrior Queen, Amina, Queen of Zaria, was the first woman to become queen in a male-dominated society. She remained at the seat of power for 34 years and managed to expand her kingdom through conquests. She also opened up valuable trade routes, which brought prosperity to the land. Under her rule, the kingdom controlled more territory than any other ruler before. To protect and mark her land, Amina used earthen walls to surround her cities. These walls became common until the British conquest of Zaria in 1904. Here's an interesting legend. It is said that in every town she went, Amina took a new lover, but every single one of them would meet a terrible fate the next morning. They would be beheaded so that no one would survive to tell the tale. Number 4. Queen Kundake Amanirenas, the Kingdom of Kush. Rule 40 BCE to 10 BCE. In 30 BCE, Caesar Augustus conquered Egypt. Right after his triumphant victory, the Roman emperor focused his attention on the Kingdom of Kush, but Kundake Amanirenas was ready. She led her army against the Romans in a war that lasted for 3 years. It is because of the Kushite army that the southward expansion of Rome came to a halt. After the first battle, the Kushite army took 3 Roman cities and many Roman captives. They also destroyed a number of monuments dedicated to Caesar Augustus. Rome continued to fight. It reclaimed some of its lost cities and targeted Kush, but the queen never faltered. Despite losing an eye, she healed and returned to battle. During the Meroitic War, Queen Kundake lost her son. In 22 BCE, Kush and Rome agreed to a peace treaty. This meant that the Kushites would keep their territories. The Romans also took their army out of Egypt. Compared to the other nations near its borders, the Kingdom of Kush didn't send any resources or paid tribute to Rome. Number 5. Queen Makeda, Ethiopia. Rule 10th century BCE. The Ethiopian Makeda, also known as the Queen of Sheba, is a mysterious and majestic ruler. Not much is known about her, but based on the references in the Hebrew Bible and later in the Islamic Quran, experts estimate she was referred to as a rich, gorgeous, and intellectual queen. During her reign, there was someone who caught her attention. King Solomon had a great reputation in the ancient world as the wisest of all kings. Makeda had long heard of his wisdom and longed to visit him. She assembled a large retinue, carrying gifts to pay homage to the great king. The queen received a warm welcome and tested his knowledge with a wide range of riddles and questions. The Old Testaments claim that Makeda was impressed with Solomon's kingdom and his intellect. They may or may not have had an affair, but the royal family of Ethiopia does claim a lineage that traces back to King Solomon. Number 6. Queen Ya Asantewa, Ashanti Empire. Rule: 1880s. Ya Asantewa was the queen mother of the Ashanti Empire at the start of the 20th century. She remains a powerful symbol today. Before earning the title Queen Mother in the 1880s, she was a skilled farmer. Some believe she was chosen as the main advisor to the king because of the matrilineal aspect of the Ashanti culture. Her older brother was a strong ruler at the time, which might have paved the way for her to be appointed to this role. Nevertheless, she held the second highest position in the Ashanti Empire. Throughout her life, Asantewa saw a number of life-changing events. The Civil War from 1883 to 1888 posed a severe threat to the Ashanti Empire. Her grandson, whom she nominated as the next Ejesuheni, was exiled by the British, which led her to become the regent of the Ejesu-Juaben district. Asantewa was dedicated to protecting the sacred symbol of the Ashanti, known as the Golden Stool. Ya Asantewa participated in secret meetings against the British and reminded the people of the bravery of the Asante. Her inspiring, courageous, and impressive words led to the Ashanti Uprising. Ya Asantewa was elected as the only and first woman war leader in Asante history. She led 5,000 warriors and bravely fought against the British invaders. Number 7. Queen Nandi, Zulu Kingdom. Rule: 1816 to 1827. Queen Nandi of the Zulu Kingdom was a powerful figure with a complex history. She had a remarkable legacy intertwined with that of her son, Shaka Zulu. Those who didn't cry at her funeral were most likely executed. This heroine overcame the animosity and rejection of her people. She dedicated her entire life to her children and opened the path for her son, King Shaka Zulu, to transform and reshape the Zulu kingdom into one of the most formidable civilizations. Nandi had an affair with Sinza Kakona Kajama, the king of the Zulu, and was impregnated out of wedlock. Sinza Kakona tried denying paternity a number of times, but had to eventually marry Nandi. She was highly shamed and placed in a lowly position of a third wife. Shaka and Nandi were consistently bullied and tormented, which is why she took her son and fled. Over time, she taught her son values and molded him into one of the greatest kings. After the death of Sinza Kakona, Shaka was compelled to return to the tribe and reclaim his throne. After all those years, he still remembered how the tribe treated him and his mother. So, he appointed Nandi as the Queen of Zulu and his personal advisor. He held his mother in high regard and never married. Together, they expanded the kingdom and fought slave traders. Number 8. Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba. Rule: Ndongo, 1624 to 1663, and Matamba, 1631 to 1663. Nzinga was a powerful woman and an exceptional leader. She distinguished herself through espionage and military tactics, which helped her form numerous strategic alliances and gather knowledge of religious problems and trade. These efforts helped her resist the aspirations of Portugal's colonialists. Nzinga inherited the throne of Ndongo. During this period, the kingdom was under attack from neighboring aggressors and the Portuguese, so Nzinga made the strategic decision to reposition her land as an intermediary instead of a supply zone in the slave trade. She formed an alliance with Portugal and ended the Portuguese slave raiding in the kingdom. But in 1626, Portugal betrayed Ndongo, and the queen fled with her people to the west. Here, they founded a new state called Matamba. To strengthen her forces, the queen provided sanctuary to runaway slaves and soldiers. She then formed a military organization called Colombo, training the youth to fight against the Portuguese. She instigated a rebellion in Ndongo, but failed to drive out the Portuguese from the region. Nevertheless, by the time of her death, Matamba was a remarkable commercial state that fought with the Portuguese on equal ground. Number 9. Queen Moremi, Ile-Ife Kingdom, Nigeria. Rule: 12th century. Queen Moremi was a folk heroine and a legendary Yoruba queen. She helped liberate her kingdom from the Ugbo kingdom. She was a gorgeous and brave woman. During the 12th century, her homeland was constantly raided by its neighboring tribe. During a siege, she offered herself to be captured by the raiders and taken as a slave. Because of her beauty, the Igbo ruler took her as his queen consort. She learned the secrets of her husband's army and escaped to Ile-Ife. She then revealed her intel, which the Yorubas used to defeat the Ugbo kingdom in battle.